Hi friends, standing here in my cabin, which I'm very excited about, and don't have the heat on yet, hence why I'm wearing this. So I thought I would just make a little video about coping with the current energies and with what's happening. So I think it's pretty obvious to a lot of us that we're really living in two different realities, that some of us are living in one version of reality and others are living in another version of reality. And there's a lot of emotions that come up with that, you know, feelings of anger, of sadness. How does this person believe that? How can they see that? And it's often it's a challenging, it's challenging to try to come at a place of understanding from a higher perspective when you're in it, when you're feeling the emotions, when you're feeling the triggers. So, the only thing that has worked for me, well, one of the things that has worked for me is obviously quieting the mind and coming into a place of meditation, because that brings us out of our, human selves with all of our triggers, with all of our stuff that, we carry from past experiences with people. It's often family members, and helps us see what's happening and why it's happening. As you know, many of you know, we're going through this age of awakening. It's this massive shift in consciousness. A lot of people are awakening. Most people are still, living in 3D, believing the propaganda and the news and the media and the government and all the things that they're telling us that are partly true and partly not true. And the partly not true part is is what's important to focus on, because the propaganda, I'd say, could lead to real damage, in my view, especially of children. There's going to be a lot of children that are going to need therapy, that are going to need a lot of support when they grow up, especially if they're being told to comply with certain things that are not in their highest good, or they're not for their well-being, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. But putting that aside, how do we cope with, waking up in the morning and being like somebody said, my friend said the other day, it's opposite world. It literally seems like opposite world. What seems like sane behavior to somebody, growing up in society, we're now seeing what looks like insane behavior from in the mainstream world. It looks insane. And that's because it kind of is. But then again, that's my judgment. And so that's a label. I also need to move past that. So ultimately, what I pick up on and what helps me is to rise above. Always rise above, rise above, rise above. And so for those of us who are awakening, and I don't mean to say that in a way like, oh, better than or no more, but you guys know what that means. Your third eye is open. You see what's going on. You see beneath the illusions and beneath the veil, that we can rise above. And so for somebody who may, say, oh, I'm only going to see you if you're vaccinated, or I'm not going to allow my kids to be around you if you are, being irresponsible with your behavior and dangerous, or whatever that means, that can, we can get triggered when we feel that type of thing. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's maybe you're on the opposite side and you feel like somebody's acting irresponsible and they're putting you and your family in danger for whatever reason, and you feel this trigger. Often with triggers there's something there's something that needs to be looked at. So when we feel the emotion, it's like we feel anger. Often it starts with anger, right? And it's like, well, where is this coming from? If we can just pause and say, notice that you're feeling that. And this is where obviously quieting the mind meditation helps us even be aware that we are feeling that, so we don't just get stuck in the spin cycle, and just be like, I notice I'm feeling triggered. I notice there's a feeling of anger, and then it's like, where is this coming from? And exploring that. Where is it in my body? Does it contain a story that goes along with it? I did this morning, and I noticed that beneath some anger was sadness. And it's sadness of knowing that there's going to be some people in my life that I probably won't be seeing for a while. Who knows when, because of some of this stuff, because of some of their choices. And so, what I'm choosing to do, or, doing my best to do, and what I suggest doing if this feels right to you, is just always coming from a place of compassion. I understand. If that's what you feel, it feels right for you, I understand. I wish you the best. Not saying, well, you shouldn't do that and you're making a blah, blah, blah. And of course, it's easier said than done, especially when it comes to loved ones, to family. But that's what we're being asked to do, is just rise above love, coming from a place of love, coming from understanding. People who are still wedded in the 3D are probably, there's this fear. And it's, forgive them for they know not what they do. And, yeah. And maybe then it goes for the flip side too. If you're thinking somebody's being irresponsible and just uncaring and they're not, compassionate about somebody, look at that, examine that. Is that really true? Those are these wonderful questions when we get triggered. Do I really believe that? Is that true 100% of the time? These questions, is there another question is there another explanation for that? Or am I assuming something? The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, amazing book. Never make assumptions. Don't take things personally. So this for me has been so helpful to rise above, and just connecting with light with another person who may see things very differently. And that it is hard. And so I'm going to speak to those of you who may feel like, I like to say, I have a very different view of this COVID situation than the mainstream. And I hear that from people. And I will say a lot of people are feeling that. I connect with them. And there's people that are meeting here in Maine. And if you're in Maine and you want to find a community of people, reach out to me. I can connect you. I facilitate my own community called the Soulful Work Community. We meet monthly. And also virtually. We meet virtually and in person, so twice a month, really. And there's other communities meeting as well that I could connect you with. So my website is soulfulworkconsulting.com, as many of you know, and you can read about the Soulful Work community there under groups. But if you want an in-person group and you're not in Maine, you really want to connect in person, ask your angels, ask your guides to help you find the courage to reach out, and then reach out to, just explore, put out feelers, and you'd be amazed. I can tell you some amazing stories of these crazy synchronistic ways that I found this homeschool co-op. I just I wanted something that was free for my children, wrote it down in the positive and the present tense, putting out this vibration of what I want. A lot of us right now are focusing on what we don't want. I just don't want this. I don't want this. And the more we talk about what we don't want, the more we're giving our energy to that and creating a stronger vibration of that, what we don't want. We want to do the opposite. So think, okay, I want to focus on what I want. This is what I want. Positive present tense, if it's already happening, writing it down makes it seem real to the ego. And then just a matter of time. Put out feelers, explore, experiment, cast your line. That Paul Simon line, trust your intuition. It's like going fishing. You put your line out, cast your line out, see if you get a bite. Just keep casting your line out over and over and over. And I promise you, if you're working on your ego stuff, clearing out the negative thoughts and beliefs, I can't, I won't, it'll never, people might, blah, 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 all those things, then you will find that your vibration will find you, and you can find the right communities you're looking for. You can find free and healthy, and I mean like emotionally healthy, socially and emotionally healthy, free and aligned places for your children, for your families. People are starting to get tired of this nonsense, as they should, and it's happening. We're building the new earth. Communities are coming together, trying to, being self-sufficient, living off the land, supporting each other. And it might seem bad, but it's really, this has been a prophecy. This is the age of awakening. We humans, we've been living an unsustainable lifestyle on, the capitalistic, more, take from the earth, not respecting the earth, not respecting indigenous wisdom, indigenous elders. So much wisdom to share. So this is kind of like we're being forced to reevaluate, to reconnect, to really support each other in ways we haven't in thousands and thousands of years. There's a great movie called Time of the Sixth Sun that I highly recommend watching. A lot of interviews with indigenous elders. And it's all about this shift in consciousness. So hope this has been helpful in some way. There's a lot of hope, even though there's darkness, and we're seeing the darkness. We're seeing these dark things show themselves. But again, that's another highway. We don't need to get on that highway. Just like with any negative thoughts and any low vibrational stuff, We don't need to, it's over here, right? You see it, but you don't need to get on that. Coming back to light, bringing in light, connecting with divine guidance, God, source energy, angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, whatever that is, Jesus, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Saint Germain, Kuan Yin, who knows, any ascended master you like, any of these divine beings, feeling light flowing in your crown chakra, down through the third eye, connecting with your heart, flowing through your body. The heart is the strongest, most powerful electromagnetic center in the body. It's our seat of our soul and our opening and our gateway to receiving guidance. So, and it helps me immensely. So, hope that helps. Connect with me. Reach out to anybody you can think of that you think might be aligned to help you. We need to support each other, and you're not alone if you're feeling you're seeking another a community that's free and open and healthy for your family. Okay, much love.